Thank you for joining us on our Family First Life Tri-State Serve the People podcast. We appreciate you tuning in, spending your time to develop and grow with us. Follow us, please, on all our social media platforms at Family First Life Tri-State or FFL Tri-State. We love you. Keep listening, and I hope this information is serving you across the country. All right, everybody. Thank you for jumping on with us. Family First Life Tri-State FFL Training Day podcast. We have a special guest today. We're excited to invite Marissa Mazziotti on the call with us, EVP of FFL Domination. Her team is growing, exploding, and she's just doing some great things for Family First Life, great things for her team, great things on social. We had to get her on. Way too much fire coming out of her camp. So thank you for joining us, Marissa. How you doing?
I'm doing fantastic, and I'm just excited to be here. Mark, you've been someone I looked up to since day one, so I just feel honored and excited and fired up.
Well, we're definitely honored to have you on. I mean, you've definitely risen like a phoenix in a short period of time, and we've watched and see you developing, training, molding, working with people. So we're excited to have you on, and I don't know if everybody in our audience knows kind of where you come from and how you found Family First Life, but I'd appreciate if you can kind of walk us down that path. Tell us a little bit about your background. That'd be great.
Yeah, for sure. So I actually grew up in Montana, where my neighbors were.
Really?
Yeah. So
wow.
Very
it's
small
Montana
town.
Day.
Yep, very small town. 60 kids in my class. So
What?
I grew up thinking that's how the world was.
Wow.
So I moved to Phoenix, lived in Phoenix for 6 years, and I was doing medical transportation for people who get organ transplants. So when an organ gets moved to its recipient, I was doing that in a dispatch center, kind of like a firefighter schedule. So I would work 3/12s a week.
What made you get into that? What made you get into that?
So it was weird. I was running track. So I ran track in college for a year, and one of my friends was doing it, and he was and he was doing well for himself for being, we were 19 years old. He was doing well.
Right.
And he was like, I was like, what do you do? He's like, well, I just drive kidneys around and I drop them off. And I was like, that doesn't make any sense. I was like, that's weird. I was like, that's weird. So it was kind of weird he was like, you should interview. And they weren't looking for anybody. So Mark, I actually just kept emailing them until eventually they were hiring. And I just kept emailing. And so eventually they opened up a hiring process. And they were like, this girl just doesn't shut up. Yeah, she just doesn't stop emailing. So yeah, I started doing that. And I loved it. It was great. I just, Mark, I was at I couldn't go anywhere else. There was no more up for me to go. Right. So if I don't have something that I'm working towards, I just kind of start to get bored, So I wasn't really looking for anything, but I was open to the idea. And I saw this on social media, and I thought it was way not true. Huh. And I thought I was going to school to get a master's degree as well. And so I was like, there's no way the insurance industry has what everyone's saying it has to offer when I'm over here going to school for 6 years. It doesn't make sense. So I got my license, Mark, kind of out of disbelief. I was like, I'm going to prove this wrong.
I love this.
Yeah.
That's great.
So then I was all in from day one, and I never looked back.
Got it. Were you Family First Life day one?
No. So I was 2020, end of 2020.
Okay, so you had started at a different company.
No. Oh, yes, I was Family First Life day one. I thought you meant when the company started. But yeah, Family First Life day one.
Okay,
no experience.
Got it. Who hired you?
Ashley Gronberg.
So you saw her social media post.
Yeah, and it was weird because I didn't actually see her social media. Someone that she was connected with that happened to know her from my previous job sent me her story and said, I don't know what this girl's doing. And they were like, and they love Ashley, but they're like, if Ashley can do it, you could do it. You should reach out.
Got it. Yeah, that's what's up.
That's why I love social media so much, because I'm like, it recruits for you.
Well, you're definitely killing it on social. I want to get into that a little bit. But all right, makes sense. So you kind of came in, was it looking around, trying to see what was what, or did you just kind of bleed the brakes from day one?
I just sort of did it from day one, and it was cool because I didn't know anything, and I actually like that because I think Mark, I feel like sometimes I'm a know-it-all and I think I'm really good at stuff even though I'm not. But I really just came into this opportunity and was like, I don't know anything, so I'm just going to do whatever anyone tells me to do. I
Got
didn't
it.
know what leads were. I didn't know what sales was. I had no idea. So when someone told me to do something, I didn't have any other background that I was like, okay. And I
Right.
just did whatever they said.
Isn't that, and then that's how you became. I mean, I wish more people could bottle up what you just said and drink it. Not because, it just gave you a fast track, and the people that are hiring you aren't looking to hurt you. They're actually looking, they have your best interest, and they're trying to help you grow. So you went out and started, serving families day one. And, you had, relatively great success. I've watched some of your numbers. But you also started to like build a team. Was that day one? Was that day 90? Like, what was your thought process behind that?
Yeah, that was day 90. So when I came in day one, I actually didn't want to. And I
Ah,
thought that's because I thought it was going to be a manager position like you have at any other job, right? So I
mm,
was like, I've been a manager before. I don't want to do that. I didn't
mm,
realize that when you're an independent contractor, being a manager is just empowering other people to do what you do.
nice.
So I didn't want to be responsible for anybody else. And then
Got
yeah,
it.
and then as I started to do it and it started to change my life, that's when I was like, I have to share it. So if I could go back, I would have started sharing it day one, but it probably took me 3 months before I was really like about it.
What was it about it that made it change your life?
So I think, it just allowed me to do things that I hadn't been able to do. So when I first came in my first week, Mark, I did not have any money and I was moving into a new house
Hmm.
and I was moving in and I was letting my little sister live with me.
Hmm.
And I had $300. Ashley told me to buy leads. So I bought leads. And then I called my little sister, who at the time she was actually she was 20. She was 20.
Hmm.
And I called her and I said, I need your paycheck. And she said, Marissa, my paycheck's $250. And I was like, yeah. I was like, I need you to Venmo me it right now. Like, I need you to send it to me. And she didn't ask any questions. She was like, all right, I'll send it to you. Sent it to me. I bought leads. I protected some families.
Wow.
But then fast forward 90 days, Mark, then I was able to like buy her the furniture that we needed for our house. And I was able to get her the things that she needed. And now she's my staff. So now I'm able to employ her. So I think that for me was big as I was like I've been able to do things for my little sister that I could just never would have been able to do before. And that's where I was like, if I can do this for somebody else, I have to share about it. Like
That's
it's stupid,
strong.
not
That is
selfish.
that's so strong. Wow. How did you know, even in reflection or just daily, looking at your sister, the impact that she had on you and then vice versa you had on her, how does that make you feel? Like what does that bring to the top of mind and top of, heart for you?
I just think it's crazy, Mark, and you just like don't want to stop, right? Like you don't get to a place where like it's not about you anymore. Like
Mm,
now I think about her family. Like of course my family down the road, but it's like her family. Like if we can do this together and then she can have something for her future kids and like
mm,
it's just an opportunity that I just never thought existed. You know what I mean? And something that you can really, and even like my mom, she just broke her femur, Mark. I don't even know how you break your femur. Like weird, but like just being able to like send something back to her and be able to help her. And she's like, I've been in the hospital for a while and like, so it's just that stuff. Like I just never would have imagined, like, that's not what you think about. Like you kind of stay tunnel vision. I need to go to college. I need to make money. I need to do this. I need to do that. It's like, you don't think about like at the end of the day, that's what we're working for. Give back to our families, give back to the community. And I don't know. It's incredible.
no doubt about it. And you started building 90 days in. When did it start to become a sport, a passion, the ability to see change? When did you start seeing change in some of the agents that you were saving, some of the agents you were helping, some of the agents you were putting in a better position, and it became more of it started to live inside you? What did you see? How did that take flight?
Yeah, and I think at the beginning, Mark, is when you first start to build, or when I first start to build, I was building because I was like, I had the impact a little bit, but it wasn't already there. It wasn't all the way there. So you see the impact, but then you kind of switch to like also the opportunity financially and down the road of what it can do for you. And the minute that that's in your mind, it's different, right? So
Mm,
at the beginning, I was still building because I was like, I can do it. I see what it can do financially. I can bring in that extra, money and that extra income and things like that. But then when you start to get messages and you start to get people that say like, Marissa, this changed my life. Like if you didn't show me this opportunity, if you didn't post about this opportunity on your Instagram or whatever, I wouldn't have been able to do this for my kid. And that's when it's like, boom. Like when something about their life changes, and I didn't do it. It's not like we did it. You don't take any responsibility for that. But it's like, that's when it changed, when other people's lives were changing and it wasn't about why you should build a business here and what this is going to do for you. It was like, okay, I shared the opportunity and then they had something really good that came for their family out of it. And that's when I was like, I can't even stop. Like I can't.
That's awesome. 2022 convention, fresh off convention, you know, the most successful event. Now, before I get into that, how many conventions had you attended prior to this one?
One. So last year, 2021 was my first one.
And where was that? Arizona?
That was Arizona. We had 7 events. I was in Arizona.
So that was the most jam-packed event. So, but to come into this event in Miami at the Florida Marlins Stadium, what was your anticipation going into the event?
I didn't even know. Honestly, I didn't even know. But coming out of it, Mark, is like, you think it's going to be kind of like everything. Like you kind of know, like you're like, these people are going to go up on stage. They're going to talk about this. I'm already here. I've been here a year. So it's going to really impact new agents, but like maybe it'll impact me. But it was like honestly, the best event and the best like thing I've ever been to in my life.
Wow.
Like it was to see those people up there and just to hear how everyone's got a sad story, bro. Like everyone does, and you can do it too. You know what I mean? Like that was my biggest takeaway is like no one came in here, Mark, and was like all this or all that. Like everyone had their own struggle, and like to see like the places that you can be at and the places that you can become and the person that you can become in like not that long. It's just, it's insane.
It's true. And, you know, that was like speaker after speaker after speaker after speaker. And just kind of watching it. I mean, it was really awe-striking, you know, just, you know, as I reflect and, you know, listening to some of these people. Your team was with you. You know, what was some of the biggest impact for them that they said to you?
So they believed in it a lot more. Right. Like I had a lot of new agents and even like some agency managers that have kind of been into it. And again, like, you know what I'm talking about? We get caught up in all the logistics of everything, the dialing the phone, like how many dials do I need to make? How many leads do I need to buy? I don't have, you know, I got to invest a certain amount of dollars into leads. It's like you get caught up in that. And everything that I heard from my team at this convention was like, I didn't have the belief before. And now they have the belief. Like all that other stuff, all that's going to come, the leads, like all that other stuff and how to protect families and what to say in the home and the objections. But all that is just like compared to like believing in themselves. Right. I think that's huge too, is like, you can have all that stuff, but if you don't believe that you can do it, like if you look at the people on stage and you say, well, Mark did that, but like, that's pretty hard. Like, I don't know, but they hear your story and to hear them say, I heard that story and I think I can do it too.
Right.
That's huge. So I think that was the biggest, is a lot of people said, you know, I'm so grateful for what I've heard, but also like, I think I can do it. Like, I believe that I can do it now.
That's so empowering.
Yeah.
And think about this. How much of that had to do with you?
None.
None of it.
None of it.
The best part about building a business, like you just invited them to the convention. And then said maybe something like, what was your top takeaway? You know what I'm saying? And everyone else did the work. And then they did the work in themselves. So as you create the invite, this is what I need people to understand. You're the open door. And then you bring them into this world where a lot of the work is being done on them internally. And then externally, it's a lot of other people assisting. So it is, like you said, you're not responsible for anybody as a manager here, but your job is to kind of guide them and empower them to be the best version of themselves that they can be, which is even more liberating.
Yeah.
You know, more liberating. So that's amazing. Who was your favorite non-FFL speaker?
I think it's gotta be Austin Hatch.
Got it. Talk to me.
I think just perspective, right, Mark? Like we talk about it a lot, and like you sometimes like you lie to yourself, like you tell yourself like I'm a positive person and I wake up every day and I'm so grateful, but like you let it slip away, like you do.
I can't. I just definitely wasn't ready for this.
You do. It's like you lie to yourself, right?
That's
a little
true.
bit. We all do.
Yeah, you're facts. Yeah.
You tell yourself, I'm working so hard. But like sometimes you let it get away from you, right? And we think sometimes that things in our lives are bad. And then like you hear Austin Hatch saying, I've had 2 bad days in my life. And it's literally when I lost my family.
Wow.
Like that's crazy. Like it's crazy to me, Mark, that I would ever complain about making a dial. Or that I would ever complain about going to an appointment at 10 p.m. or that I would ever complain about literally anything.
Right.
Like I was at convention before that, and you know what I was thinking, Mark?
What?
I'm like, they literally have chicken strips and hot dogs. Like I don't like any of that stuff. and then you hear that story, and you're like, what is wrong with you?
Right. It's so.
You know what I mean? Like it's those little daily things. Like we do that all the time. It's those daily things. Like, oh, I got to get gas. Oh, I got to do this. You only have chicken strips or hot dogs, and you don't realize you're doing it until you hear a story like that. And it's just that was like just so moving to me. It was definitely my favorite.
Yeah, I'm floored listening to you give the perspective that you're giving, because that's so right, man. That's just so right. And it's like we are all guilty of that. And my man had been in 2 plane accidents, both with his family. And the first time lost his mom and 2 sisters, and it was just him and his dad who survived. And the second time lost his dad and his dad's new wife. In his recovery, but he attacked his recovery.
Yeah.
Can you imagine the pity party that he was eligible to have? Who could have been more eligible than this guy?
No.
You know what I'm saying? Like, to just either give up or to at least for a year go, dude, no. Like, and almost nobody would have argued with him.
And you want to know what else is crazy too, Mark, is that he got back in the plane. I thought that was pretty crazy, right? Like, you have something like that happen to you, and most people would let that steer them away from whatever their fear was for the rest of their life. Like most people would be like, I'm never getting, like he got back in the plane again.
That's real.
Like that blew me away. Cause like we have failures all the time and we're like, well, that didn't work. I'm never doing that again. Right. Like, and that's just daily stuff. Like he got back in the plane a second time.
That's because I wouldn't have.
Me neither.
True story. Like, you know, we can call this podcast confessions, but I wouldn't have. You know what I'm saying? I saw Kobe Bryant pass away. We had been on a couple helicopters before. I'm probably good. Like, there's nothing about my life in a helicopter that's going to make me better. I'm probably good. I'm just being really honest. I probably wouldn't have gotten back on that plane. Dude's a stud. And I didn't look at it the way you just served it up to us, even in the moment. And the moment was definitely bone chilling. But the way you're describing it is giving me so much more perspective on it. And it's really helping me right now. So I know this has got to be helping our audience. But that's legit, Marissa. Like, that's serious stuff, you know? Mm-hmm. So I'm so glad I asked you that question. Because it's so true, and it puts crazy perspective into what we do on a day-to-day basis. You know, we're out there serving families with life insurance protection so that the day that they're at their worst, we have helped and served and put their family in a better position. Mm-hmm. So, again, as you said, complaining about a dial or a no-show or having a door knock. How many times have I been in a field and not wanting the door, like did not want to get out of the car or even put the address in my GPS because I could be doing something else.
Yeah.
But did it anyway. but complained. But you know what I'm saying? Just had a perspective that was probably not right. You know, man, it's just crazy. And now, how much better, Marissa, would life be if we just tapped into that and we just lived like that to the best of our ability?
I can't even imagine. It was like we'd have no bad days. You know what I mean? Because it's all in your head. We'd have no bad days.
And, you know, he said that you can't be positive. What'd he say? You can't
Grateful
and negative at the same time.
Yeah.
That's strong.
That's
so
crazy.
I'm grateful. but I'm mad that, you know, I just tripped. I'm grateful, but I'm mad that this deposit didn't get put in. I'm grateful, but this is a bad batch of leads. All right. I mean, like that crushed that. You know what I'm saying? So that's pretty awesome, pretty strong. You look at the convention and the juice that it creates and the juice that it can have coming out of it. And you've probably had huddles or meetings or, you know, strategy sessions with team members, managers, leaders on your team. What is your plan of attack coming out of this event? And what are some of your goals as far as serving families, saving agents for 2022?
Yeah, I think, Mark, one of my main goals is to empower other people to save agents, right? So like we go out and I want to save agents and I'll continue to, you know, recruit on social media, but to empower brand new agents who are just getting started to see the value right away of helping other people, right? Like the day you get your first deposit or even while you're studying or whatever it is, like you're in a position to have your life change so you can share that with other people. So I think that's a goal. And Mark, in the past, I waited like, let's wait till this person's like a little bit experienced and then we'll teach them how to recruit. But it's like, it's not about that now. Right. It's about changing lives, and you can be at any stage in the process to be able to share the opportunity, empower that. So I think that's one of my main goals. And then just to get people on board with like what they're doing that's impactful and forget about all the other stuff, right? Like we don't need to look at leads as leads anymore. Every lead is a family. Right. Like they're not leads. How many family information did you get out of the CRM today?
No doubt.
You know, every, you know, deposit is an ability to protect more families. Every, you know, door knock, everything that you do is not, you know, a lead or an investment or this and that. And all these words that we use all the time. It's really truly about, you know, how you look at it. Right. And every dial is not a dial. Every dial is a family. You called a family to offer your help. Right. And so I think if we change those things on a daily basis and that starts with me, then it will shift everybody else's perspective to what we're actually doing here.
Definitely. And you've done an incredible job, you know, building your social media and working, you know, on a day-to-day basis to attract agents that are probably in a terrible position. It's unbelievable the amount of agents that are not being treated right in our industry. That's why we use the term save agents, because we just feel like it's a calling to the industry. I mean, like, why would you work somewhere at a 30%, 40%, 50% comp? You know, I was talking to a guy the other day, and, you know, he's kind of done some really cool things in this industry, but he's at a 50% comp. And I'm like, dude, I just don't know what to say. I mean, that means that you're getting paid so much less per hour than someone else at 100+ contract. I mean, why would you do that?
Yeah.
You know,
I think another big thing too for me, Mark, is to not be uncomfortable to do that now, right? Like, I think we get it in our head, like, oh, I have in the past, I've gotten in my head a little bit, like this person at this other company, well, they're bigger than me. Or they're more experienced than me, or they have a bigger team than I do. So maybe I'm not the person that should reach out to them. Now I'm like, I'm reaching out to everybody, because what's the worst that's happened? You drip on them, you tell them the idea, you let them know what we have to offer here, what we're doing for families, what we're doing for agents. the business opportunity we have here, and they say no, or they block you.
No doubt.
So I think that too is not being uncomfortable with that, not being like, who cares if they judge you? Like, all you're trying to do is impact lives and save them and help them and realize that where they're at is not good.
Strong.
And that there's better out there, and to not be weird about doing that. Like, what are they going to do? Block me on Instagram? Okay. Big deal. You know? Ooh. That's one of those things. Like, Marissa, you're worried about people unfollowing you on Instagram and getting mad at you? Like, really? Like, come on.
I love it.
And that's selfish. That's selfish. You're worried about their reaction, so you're not going to you're not going to talk to them about it. Now I'm just going all in, straight aggressive. Like, here's what's up.
No doubt.
You know?
Think about the mental growth you have to go through to grow. The things you have to challenge, the thought processes that are weak, the muscles you got to build. Like, it's a nonstop thing. That's why I like leadership development. It's literally a nonstop thing. You're constantly looking for the weak points to strengthen them, take the strong points, use them as a battering ram. But it's like, listen to the way you just kind of talk to yourself and the cadences you had to use, however long it took, a night, 30 nights, 6 months, whatever it was, to get you to this place of, really? I mean, we're going to just go save agents with reckless abandon. Now, if you're listening to this, you absolutely can change your mind. You can change your heart. You can work to do that. You got to realize that most of the stuff we do is not that big a deal. You know, so you should be able to push yourself and throw yourself recklessly into some of these situations, because, Marissa, I say throw yourself recklessly, but truly it's very calculated. You know what I mean? We're not like jumping out into traffic, right? You know what I'm saying? Like you said, what's the worst that can happen? What's the worst that can happen? What, are they going to block me? What, are they going to unfriend me? What, are we not friends anymore? Let's be honest. So that's so powerful. But can you get practically and tactfully into some of the strategies that you use on a day-to-day basis on social to try to attract and save some of these agents?
Yeah. So social is my number one, my favorite. It's where I do everything mostly. The first thing is I'm never silent on there. Right. So I think one of the biggest things is you have to bleed consistency just like you do in anything else. So every single day, doesn't matter what it is, I'm always posting. Like I said, I said this at convention, I do not tie my shoes without posting about it. I post everything. So I think that consistent, because people need to see that you're consistently working, right? And you're consistently about the opportunity, and you love the opportunity so much that when you have a bad day, Mark, you don't stop posting about it because you had a bad day.
No doubt.
It's still the best opportunity. So that, and then also I'm really big on recognizing other people and putting that out there, right? Because you also don't know, like you said, you just have to get people to the event. Same thing. You just have to get people to see the opportunity. You don't know who they're going to relate to. So they might see me and they might think, I don't really like her. She annoys me, but I post about you and I say, this is what Mark is doing. And they're like, you know what? I relate to that guy more.
Got it.
And so I recognize everybody else every single day. This is what this person did. This is where they live. This is the success they have had. And I switch it up too. The reality of social media is it has to be aesthetically pleasing in terms of, if you post the same thing over and over and over again, no one's going to watch it because you're not going to watch it, Mark, and I'm not going to watch it. So I think about that too. I think about what would I watch. So if I go to your Instagram and I look in every single story is the exact same thing over and over again, after the third one, I'm out. So I try to really be consistent, really switch it up, recognize other people. And then I just go on and I search hashtags. And it doesn't necessarily have to be hashtags on insurance agent. What you're going to find is a lot of people at FFL are doing that. So, search other things, sales, hashtag sales life, hashtag, from some other industries, pest control, solar, MLM. There's a lot of people out there who are good at sales, and they are entrepreneurs, and they just don't realize that this is out there. So we can find some of those people and show them the opportunity. And then I follow them and I like their stuff and I creep on them all day long and I send them a message. And I don't say, hey, Mark, you should join my company. I just say, hey, Mark, looks like you're killing it in the industry that you're in. If you don't mind, what's the thing that you love the most about it? Well, or how long have you been in it? And then I just start a casual conversation, and eventually they start asking me questions and I'm like, here it is. If it is an insurance agent, I probably get a little more aggressive. Hey, Mark, what's your comp? That sucks. Come over here. But either way, You have to be active on it all the time.
Right.
And also understand that what you put out there. Here's the way I look at social media too, Mark, is everyone's coming. And I think when you get that in your mind, it's different for you. Everybody's coming over here.
Right.
So you have to make yourself competitive on social media, right? Because they might look at what you posted and then they go to your profile, Mark, and they see family first life. Then they look up family first life. And then they see Nina and Hayden and they join Nina and Hayden's team. Right? So no matter what, they're coming. You got to make yourself competitive.
That's great. That's facts. I like that.
They're coming no matter what.
That's great. Cool. So when you look at, that strategy of this daily barrage attack, just kind of, how do you schedule that throughout the course of your day? Is that scheduled? Is that lifestyle? Is that something like, is that in blocks or is that all day?
So that's all day, especially with posting. It's all day. It doesn't matter what I'm doing. I can relate it to work somehow. And the reality is too, Mark, people want to see also, what you get to do on the daily, that you're a real person. You're not just like we don't want our families, when we call them, to think we're telemarketers. You're not a robot either. Mm-hmm. You're a normal human. You have kids, you have a family.
Right.
So you also want to be a real person. So that's all day. I mean, searching things online is all day, all the time. If I'm in the car in between appointments, if I got no-showed on a Zoom appointment or a dial appointment, or I didn't close the thing over the phone, whatever, I'm right back to it on social media, Instagram, posting stuff, asking my staff to help me pump out some content. And then just getting on the phone with people myself a lot, right? So that's another thing too, is when you and recruiters are great and they help you screen people. But Mark, when someone goes to your Instagram and they relate to you, or your social media and they relate to you, they want to talk to you. Mm-hmm. So I try to do everything I can to be on the phone with them as much as I can about, here's my story, here's what I did, what does your life look like, this is how it can help you. And at the end of the day, the decision's up to you, but they want to talk to you because that's who they connected with, right?
100%.
So I try to be as active and hands-on as I can with those new people to share the opportunity.
That's fantastic. Now, if you were new at this, relating, what you do on a day-to-day basis to work, would you tell someone to get on a schedule, or would you tell someone to just make it their life? And if the answer is make it your life, how do they practically start doing that?
Yeah. So I think for a new agent who's in the field 40 appointments a week, I would make it your life, but on a schedule, right? So I would make daily goals. Okay. Every time I'm in the car in between the appointment, I have a recruiting call scheduled, or I have a post that I'm putting. Every time I help a family, I take a picture with them because that's social media content. Every time if I get no-showed, I'm either doing one of two things. I'm either door knocking or I'm messaging 15 people on Instagram.
Love it.
So I would make it I would make it your life, but at the beginning, it's got to be scheduled goals, right? And then I would say every day after you get home from your appointments, every day after you have your 15 appointments on the dial day, you go on Instagram and you pump out content and you message people and you find people and you follow them and you like their stuff. And then I think, Mark, if you schedule that at the beginning and you make that a goal at the beginning that you're scheduling it, eventually you do it enough that it just becomes your daily life. Right?
Yeah, that makes sense. That's awesome. I love those practical tips, Marissa. I appreciate you taking time to share wisdom. I mean, great wisdom with us on this podcast. We are, elated to have you as a guest, and thank you for sharing so well.
Well, I'm just honored and excited to be here, Mark, and I appreciate all your help and all your encouragement. And I'm just excited 2022, that we're not stopping.
I love it. If you had a parting shot for agents, what would it be?
My one thing would be believe in regardless of what it is, Mark, believe in yourself quicker. I think believe in yourself quicker, right? So you come in, you're uncomfortable, you feel weird, you don't know what to do, and fake it till you make it. Someone asked me that the other day, Mark. They were like, how did you get so confident? I'm like, I wasn't. I just told myself I was. I just faked it till I made it. So I think right from the beginning, if you're uncomfortable, just pretend you're not. You know what I mean? Just pretend you're not. Fake it till you make it. Believe in yourself. Tell yourself that every person on that stage, you can do what they did. And it's that little portion of self-doubt. The rest of it's going to be, it's going to be whatever, but your self-doubt is going to go away. and fake it until your belief in yourself is real.
That's fantastic. Thank you so much again for sharing. FFL dominating, FFL domination. Appreciate you so much. Let's make it a big week. Let's continue to crush it. Big year, guys. God bless. Thanks, Marissa.
Thanks, Mark.